The show focused on delivering beneficial information on everything to do with products and services that can improve your life. This is Experts on Call on AM 650.
And welcome back to the program. Sterling Fox with you on what we're calling Recovery Radio. And today we're digging deep into the complexity that is addiction and the solution that is recovery. Delighted to have Lorinda Strang with us in studio. Lorinda is the executive director of the Orchard Recovery Center over on Bowen Island. You're very patient with us and very open, and I appreciate your candor, Lorinda, talking about your own background as an alcoholic, a person who's been sober for over 2 decades now, and now you're running the Orchard Recovery Center. You touched very briefly on the center, the fact that at any given time there are 25 residents who are in the primary recovery area. You also have a men's and women's facility for people who want to stick around beyond those primary care days and kind of ease back into the world on their own schedule. But tell us more about the facility. Bowen Island is a great spot. How did you get over onto Bowen Island in the first place? It's a wonderful spot.
Well, my husband at the time and I, we raised our children on Bowen Island.
Oh, okay.
So we were strong members of the community, and because of our activities and things that we'd already done on the island, it was a little easier to actually bring a treatment center into the island because we were well respected and well known for other things that we had done while we lived on the island. So It made it easier to open up a treatment center.
So did you get any of that not in my backyard backlash? Oh, geez, they're going to be a bunch of druggies and whatnot here stealing from our homes and our cars. Oh, my God, what's going on here? Did you get any of that? It sounds like it was minimal.
It was almost non-existent.
Good for you.
And I think because the island trusted my husband and myself and knew that we care about Bowen Island, we care about our community, and the type of treatment center that we're running. And I've always said, I'm in recovery myself, so, and my husband was in recovery himself. So, if you're going to be talking negatively about people that are trying to get well in recovery, then you're going to be talking to me and saying that to me. Right? So It made it a little more difficult.
So tell us about, first of all, I should probably mention that the Orchard Recovery Center is for adults, persons 19 years and older. And that's simply, you had to make demographic choices, and that's the one that you made. But walk us through a typical entry protocol. A person does a person come to the Orchard Recovery Center because they want to, or because their family has essentially said, either you go there and get some treatment, or life's really going to change dramatically and not for the better as far as we're concerned?
Well, we get both.
Okay.
So we get people that themselves pick up the phone and call, and I would say more often it's the family member that makes the first phone call.
Right.
And we walk the family member through any questions that they have and give them suggestions on what to do. We'll refer to interventionists, but we'll also send them material on how to talk to their loved one, things to say and not to say. We give them a lot of pre-admission coaching, and usually by the time that they've booked and they're coming in, the whole family's feeling quite comfortable with the whole process.
Okay.
Then it depends, their admission day depends upon their drug of choice and their level of medical detox that they need. So typically anybody who needs any medical detox, alcoholics, heroin addicts,
right,
in particular prescription medications, they need to see the doctor upon admission. And so their typical day when they come in is the family members will come in and the family members will stay for a little while. They'll have a little tour and the person will see the doctor, and then the family member will see the doctor with them. Then they'll go through their intake process. Their first day in treatment, they're scared. Pretty much everybody is scared when they first come in. And I would say for the most part, by the next day, if not sooner, they've gone from a place of fear to almost the hope is already there.
Oh, okay.
And a level of comfort and trust in us. which is
Okay.
really important.
I want to carry on with more about the intake process and what the programs are that people go through. But back to the family for a few minutes, because there are a lot of people listening to us right now probably enjoying a drink on the patio as it's a lovely summer evening. Okay, no big deal. But some of us listening to the program right now are going, I know this guy at work. He drinks too much. He's drinking at his desk. He's got a bottle in a drawer at his desk. He's cranking down the booze at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This guy's got a problem. How do family members, what do you coach? You said there's a lot of sort of pre-admission coaching for family members. Talk to those family members listening to us right now, Lorinda. What are the clues they should be looking for to realize that, it's not social anymore? We have a problem in our family, whether it's booze or prescription drugs or God knows what other substances. What are the clues we should be paying attention to that tell us with no reservations something's really going off the rails here?
It depends on the drug. Alcohol, there are alcoholics that hide it really well and are secret drinkers, and they're not your typical in-your-face, drunk, loud.
Right.
It's obvious that for them, alcohol, they're taking it too far. But with some of the other drugs, prescription drugs and heroin in particular, sometimes it's harder to detect that. So, for the family members, when they call in, they sometimes don't know what if it's like a parent, they may not know what drugs their kids are using.
But they just know something's really messed up.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not engaging in life the way they used to engage in life.
Right.
So, and oftentimes with parents, their kids' friends will come in and talk to them. And
so some kind of withdrawal from normal activities is a pretty huge clue then.
Any significant change in behaviors.
Right.
It can be they're sleeping way too much or they're not sleeping at all.
Right.
There's so many indicators if someone has a problem, but usually when a family member's calling us, they know there's a problem.
Right. Even though they may not know the specifics of the problem, they're calling the Orchard Recovery Center because they know the problem is significant enough that this person who has the problem is likely going to require some professional help.
Yes. And often that professional help is because alcohol in particular is one of the drugs that can be life-threatening. If you're a chronic alcoholic with daily significant use of alcohol and you quit drinking cold turkey, you can go into seizures.
Yes.
And you can die. So they're actually the trickiest detox. The heroin addict is going to be so sick and they can't stop on their own because they get so sick and then they need the drug just to feel normal. So there's a different medical protocol for the heroin addict.
Okay.
And right now, OxyContin, it has been for years.
Sure.
It's still a significant, it's creating havoc.
That's the one they call hillbilly heroin, isn't it?
They call that hillbilly heroin.
Right.
For the best of my knowledge right now, heroin is cheaper than getting an oxy on the street. So what happens is the kids or young adults or whoever is using oxys, they may be using any narcotic, oxys, Vicodin, fentanyl, whatever narcotic they can get, they'll use.
Right.
And then it almost always leads to heroin. So the treatment for a client coming in addicted to any narcotic is the same. So if it's oxys or if it's heroin.
Okay.
So we will help them. It's a medical process that we take them through.
Well, and I don't think there are many people listening right now who haven't seen even in a Hollywood movie, let alone a documentary on drug addiction or substance abuse and addiction that doesn't understand the sweats and all of those horrible physical withdrawal protocols that everyone has to go through just to get to the other side. And it's really not at all pretty. It's pretty nasty in some cases, isn't it?
It's really difficult for them to do it on their own. Our doctors are in my opinion, we have some of the best doctors in North America. Dr. Fay he helped set up Vancouver Detox when it first opened.
Okay.
So our doctors are all ASAM certified, so the American Society of Addiction Medicine. They're specialists in addiction. So they've seen it all, and nothing particularly phases them. So no matter what you've been doing or how much you've been using, you can come in and you're going to be with staff who understand what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And the nurses are very compassionate, and you have a whole team of people that understand what you're going through, your medical needs and your emotional needs.
You used an interesting adjective in our opening segment a few minutes ago. You were talking about embarrassment. And I would think that as a human emotion, the admission of being addicted to some kind of substance, having that obvious weakness, is embarrassing for just about everyone. And that I would think that an inhibiting factor to going to a recovery center like the Orchard would be, oh gosh, I'm going to walk in the door and everybody's going to go, oh geez, there's another drunk, another, failure. And so there would be, I would think, a fairly strong emphasis on the part of staff to be anything but judgmental to the point where a person would feel embarrassed, right? That's got to be really important.
Well, that's one of the beauties of coming into treatment. Often when somebody's coming in and with the family and they're worried about how their family member is going to even be acting, because they may be really rude at first,
Sure,
or
sure.
arrogant, or despondent, whatever their emotions are. And I often tell them, this isn't a hotel where you're just coming in and you're checking into a hotel.
Right, right.
It may feel like that a little bit, but this is a drug and alcohol treatment center, and most of the staff, or maybe not most, but many of our staff are in recovery themselves. If they're not in recovery, they have been touched by it in their life.
Right.
They understand it, and then the staff make them feel comfortable, but actually, almost more importantly, the other clients make them feel comfortable.
Sure. We're all in the same boat here.
We're all in the same boat.
Right.
And very quick, and the level of honesty that I was even barely touching on when I shared a little bit of my story, that's the level of honesty that everyone is going to be talking with.
Right.
So you may be yourself one of those people that say, I can't do group.
Right.
I can't sit in
a
a group.
I'm not bearing my soul in front of a crowd
I'm not
kind
talking.
of person. Right,
yeah,
right.
I'm not going to do it. It's like, you come on in and we'll help you along, and you will listen to the other people that are sharing.
Right.
And very quickly, I don't think there's anyone that would go through the whole process that wouldn't start talking about themselves, either in their one-on-one session with their counselor. They also get a step coach, so they have 2 people assigned to their case.
Okay.
And so 2 people in particular that there are their go-to people. Then there's the group, there's all the other counselors, whoever group you're in. There's 40 staff members.
I was just about to ask you, what staff size do you have? So it's 40.
40.
And okay, so there's 25 people in primary care. Then you said there's a men's facility, a men's house, and a women's house. What's the capacity of those 2 units?
They're about 8 each.
Oh, okay. So a total would be maybe 40 to 45 people on the premises at any given time. So that's almost a 1-to-1 staff ratio for staff to residents.
And the extended care people go to programming, their day programming. They go to our West Vancouver office, and we have 2 days of programming that is related to their stage of recovery.
Okay.
So they've progressed on from the early stages of detox and the early learning, and they're now dealing with things that are more to do with your ongoing care as you go forward.
Okay, need to take a quick break here. Lorinda Strang is the executive director of the Orchard Recovery Center on Bowen Island. This is Recovery Radio. Very quickly, before the break, gambling addiction. Do you deal with gambling addictions at Orchard?
We have clients that have process addictions as well as an addiction to drugs and alcohol. So gambling would be one of those.
Okay. And very quickly, is marijuana considered an addictive substance?
In my opinion, people, I can tell you that we have had people that have come into the treatment center, not that many. Their only substance that they're using is marijuana.
Interesting.
So
So for some, it can be a problem.
Yes.
Any substance could be a problem for some.
Yeah.
All right. More on Recovery Radio here on AM 650 with Lorinda Strang and yours truly, Sterling Fox, after this quick timeout.
Delivering relevant and beneficial consumer information. This is Experts on Call. And there's more still ahead on AM 650.